What's up everybody, welcome back. So in the last video we set up our scoreboard, and today we're going to take a look at setting up our end game condition so we can actually win or lose a team deathmatch game. And we're also going to add our XP in the PvP game modes, so we can add XP for killing a player. So right now this team needs 3 kills to win the match, so let me get these kills quickly. And as you can see, team 1-1. And then we get the scoreboard up so we can see the scores of the teams and again who won. And then we're going to get back into the lobby. So that's what we're going to set up today, and we're going to add the XP for killing a player as I mentioned. So if you enjoy the series, please consider leaving a like, and if you want to get your hands on the channel, you can become a Patreon or join the YouTube channel, and then you will get access to the premium channels in my Discord. So with all of that stuff out of the way, let's dive into the project again. So like we do most of the time, first of all I want to take a look at something from the previous video. So let's dive into the widgets folder and open our scoreboard. Inside of the sort players in team function we have a cast to the shooter PlayerState, and we collapse this to a function, and we actually putting in shooter PlayerStates over here. So we can get rid of this cast node, but because we collapse this to a function, it still says the PlayerState default variable here, so we need to disconnect it and then reconnect it. And now this will say the shooter player state, so now we can disconnect the array element directly to these nodes, and we can plug in the loop body, and we don't need the cast over here. So this can be compiled and saved. And now we can start working on the game over stuff. So we're gonna look at the end game condition first, and let's open the game over menu. So in here we're going to have a little bit of an issue with the screen space, so I want to use the game over text over here for team deathmatch to tell which team won. So I'm going to turn this text into a variable. So that's going to be the text game over, and make sure it's a variable over here. And then for the border for the game over message, I also want to turn that into a variable. So that's going to be the border game over message. And then make sure that's a variable. Then we go into this graph, and we want to add 2 new variables in here as well. So we're going to add the game mode, and that's our, oh really? Okay, so I already added the game mode, and we need to make sure that this is a game mode enumeration variable. So the E game modes. And then we also want to add the, let me double check, the winning team ID. So that's an integer, winning team ID. And for both of these variables, we want to set them to instance editable and exposed on spawn. So for the game mode and the winning team ID. And then first of all, for event construct, we're going to switch on the game mode. So let's drag it in and let's grab a switch. So plug this one in, and now we can get rid of this is PvP game bool. So let's delete that one. The text for the survived waves is going to be for the endless wave game mode, so we can plug that in over here. And then for the free for all, we can go to the is winner branch that we already had. And for the team deathmatch, we're going to create a new branch. And first of all, we can get rid of this is PvP boolean, because we're not going to use that one anymore. We're simply using the game mode now. So we want to grab the text game over for the team deathmatch branch. And first of all, let's set the text over here. And we're going to format this text. And then I'm simply going to say which team won. So let's say a team, and then open bracket, a close bracket, and then 1 exclamation point. So for the A pin, I'm going to grab the winning team variable, and we simply want to add 1 because this is the index from the winning team. So if team index 01, we want to say team 1. So this is good. Plug this one into the team deathmatch branch, and then we can set the color and opacity of the text. So we can make it green, for example, so it stands out a little bit more. So set color and opacity. plug it in as well. And we can make it a little bit of a green color. So let's make a slate color and simply select something over here. And then we want to grab the border for the game over message and make sure that we set this one to hidden so it's not overlapping with the scoreboards. So set the visibility and make sure this one is hidden. And that's our little team deathmatch branch in here. So this should be good to go. We can compile and save this one. And then we can take a look at the player controller to make sure that we pass on the correct variables, because we added some exposed on spawns and we got rid of a variable. So let's go to the framework folder and open the shooter player controller, not the player state. And inside of here we have an event called UI show game over screen. So let's take a look for that one. That's over here. So as you can see, we got rid of the isPvP boolean. So we're going to get rid of the input pin over here and also get rid of it for the event. And we want to pass on the new variables. So we have to refresh this node, and over here we get the game mode, plug it into the event and the winning team ID as well. So this should take care of the player controller, and now we can take a look at the game mode to make sure we can actually win a game. So let's take a look at the game mode, open the shooter game mode, and we want to take a look at the PvP find winning player function first. So in here we can actually add another switch for our game modes. So let's make a little bit of room, and we're going to drag in our game mode enumeration and switch on it again. So for the endless wave, we don't need this function, so we don't need to plug this in. For free for all, we can plug it into what we already had in here. And then for team deathmatch, we can simply grab our team scores array. And from here, we can get the maximum of an int array. And then we can pretty much pass this on as the winning team. So we want to grab a return node and make sure that we add an output. And that's going to be our winning team ID. So that's the integer. And over here, I'm simply going to leave it to 0. That doesn't really matter. And I'm going to grab a second return node over here. And over here, I'm going to leave the winner empty and simply plug in the index of the maximum value for the winning team ID. So compile and save this. And we get an actually, oh yeah, that's the input pin that we removed from the widget. So we're going to get to that one in just a little bit. So now we can go into the event graph. And over here we have an event for the match timer. And at the end that will look for the winning player if the time is over. So that's the match timer interval. And all the way at the end we call the game mode PvP find winning player. So what we want to do in here is make sure that we pass on this new variable to the PvP game over event. So let's go over here and let's add a new input in here. And that's going to be the winning team ID. So then we can go back to the match timer interval function and make sure that we plug in the new variable over here. And then we have our call to that function, so we can go back to where we added the input. I should have just double clicked it, so that's over here, and that's also where our little warning is, so we can take care of that one. What we want to do in here is make sure that we get rid of this input and then plug in our winning team ID from the event over here. And for the game mode we can simply grab it from the variables and plug it in like this. So we have this call fixed as well, and then all we have left in here is the game mode PvP killed player function. So that's over here. And in here we also want to make sure that we pass on the winning team ID. And that's pretty simple because this gets called when a player gets a kill. So the team that's winning would be the player that gets the kill. So we can simply get the team ID from the killer, and the killer is the variable from the input over here. So simply right click, get killer, and then get the team ID from the killer. And plug that into the winning team ID, and that should take care of it. Oh really? There we go. So compile and save this one as well. So technically we can win matches right now. That should be set up. And I want to take a look at adding the XP for kills in free-for-all and team deathmatch as well. So if we have that set up, then we can do a little test. So first of all, let's set up the actual earning of the XP, and that's not really too hard. And then we can also add a little message to the HUD so we can see how much XP we actually earned. So we're inside of the shooter game mode, and first of all let's go to the set game options function, and in here we can define the amount of XP that we're gonna earn for each kill. So the easiest way to do that would be to add it right before the branch over here. Let me double check. So this is the completed pin, so this is where it continues. So we could move this over so it makes a little bit more sense. So for the endless wave game mode, this doesn't really matter. We already have XP set up for that. So we want to grab the free-for-all and the team deathmatch branch. And let's go to the end over here. So I'm going to add a new variable and call that game mode PvP XP for kill. Something like that. Game mode PvP XP for kill. So that's an integer. And then we can simply set it over here. So I'm going to give 100 XP in a free-for-all game mode for a kill and 50 XP in a team deathmatch game. So we can simply set it over here, 100, and that's the free-for-all branch. And then copy and paste it and plug it in the completed pin over here. So I'm going to change it to 50 for team deathmatch and then plug it back in. So we have the actual variable set up, and then we can go back to the game mode PvP killed player function, and in here we simply want to add a call to our XP component. So if we go to the beginning over here, we can do that right before the branch. So let's go over here. So in this case it doesn't really matter if we're playing team deathmatch or free-for-all, because we already set the correct amount of XP. So we can simply grab the controller from the killer, because that's the only guy who actually gets XP. And then we're simply going to get the controlled pawn. And we have an interface for our XP. So we can simply call the interface function and we don't need to cast it. So we can call our add XP and we want to use the message. So that's the interface function. Plug it in. And simply grab the XP from the variables from the new one that we just created. So that's the game mode PvP XP for kill. So that should already add the XP when we kill a player. And now to make sure we actually see it on the HUD. So let's close the game mode for now and open our widgets folder and go to the in-game HUD. So if over here we have the killed message, and I'm going to click this one and I want to wrap it with a vertical box. So wrap with and then go to a vertical box. So the vertical box, I want to make it a variable. So I'm going to call this something like a vertbox PvP kill. And that's a variable. Then the text kill message already was a variable, but we want to make sure that we set the visibility for the text to visible. And then we can duplicate the text, and I'm going to call this text PvP for XP for kill. So we could change it over here, but it doesn't really matter. But we could make it something like a plus 100 XP, so we can see how it looks. And we actually want to align it to the center, so we can use justification and then align center. And I want to make it a little bit smaller, so I'm going to make this text 16. So that looks a little bit better to me, but do whatever you want. So this text is visible, that's good, but we want to go back to the vert box and make sure that the actual box is set to hidden by default. So that should take care of the designer, and then we go into the graph over here to make a few changes. So we want to go to the event graph, and we have an event somewhere down here. So show kill message, and over here we're gonna add or we're gonna change things a little bit. So at the beginning, text kill message, we want to get rid of this one, and we actually want to grab the vert box to hide and show that one. So we're gonna grab the vert box PvP kill and then set this to visible. Then for the little branch over here, we want to make a little bit of room. So if we are a victim, we don't actually get XP. So we want to make sure that we have the text for the XP kill hidden. So let's look for text and then XP for kill. Drag it in here, and we're gonna set the visibility and make sure that it's hidden. Plug it in and then continue to the delay. Now, if we are the killer, we're going to get XP, so we can copy and paste it and make sure that the text is visible. And then we simply want to set the text. So let's drag over here and set text. Plug it in over here, and then we can format the text. So I want to say plus and then the amount of XP. So open bracket A, close bracket, and then the word XP. So we want to grab the amount of XP from the actual event over here, but we need to add this input. So we're going to create a new input, and that's going to be the kill XP. Make sure that this one is an integer, and then plug it into the A pin of the format text. Come on. There we go. And then make sure that we hook this one back up to the delay. And then at the end, we want to make sure that we grab this text kill message again and replace it with the vertical box for the PvP kill. So we actually hide the entire box again. So this should be good for the event over here. So we can compile and close the widget. And we want to go to the shooter player controller because we added a new input pin to this widget. So we need to make sure that we connect it when we spawn it. So shooter player controller. And in here we have the UI show kill message event. So that's actually a little bit down the UI game over screen. And we have the new XP kill. So let's plug it into the event so we can pass on the new variable. And that's really all we need in here. So we can compile and save that one as well. And then we want to go into the game mode. And over here we have the the PvP killed player. So let's go into the shooter game mode. And then game mode PvP killed player function. And then we want to make sure that we go all the way to the end in here. And we have our UI show kill message. So we can grab our game mode PvP XP for kill variable and simply plug it in over here. And now that should make the actual XP appear on the HUD. So I'm thinking I forgot something, but it's not actually in my notes. So I think maybe I'm just mistaken. So let's have a little test and see if everything is working. So I have not actually tried this off screen yet. So this is going to be the first test, and maybe we need to fix something. We'll see. To make sure, you want to plug in this XP for kill variable in the UI show kill message for the actual killer and not the victim. So I might have just screwed this up myself, to be honest. So over here you want to make sure that you have the node where the killer player controller is plugged in, and over here you want to add the XP for kill, so the victim does not get XP and the killer does. So make sure you plug it into the correct node. Let's compile and save, and let's run our test. So let me pause this and get back when the lobby is up. So the game is set up and good to go. Let's launch it. So I forgot to lower the maximum amount of kills. So I need to get 10 kills to win. That's going to be a lot. So first of all, we're going to check the XP for kills. And then I'm going to pause the game and make sure that we win it quite quickly. So let's get a kill over here. And I actually see plus 50 XP. And I have a new profile. So you can see I'm already getting 50 XP for the first kill. So that seems to be working. Yes, right now I have 100 XP, so that's good to go. So I'm gonna make sure I have 9 kills and then get back to you guys. So we're back and I should be able to get 1 kill and then I should win the match. So over here, team 2-1, you see it in the header, and now we get the scoreboards on screen so we can see our results. And after a while the lobby will load again so we can start a new match. So that's the win condition and XP for kills. And in the next episode we're gonna take a look at setting up the team colors so we can actually see who we have to shoot at. So thanks for watching everybody, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and I'll be back soon for more. Talk to you later guys, bye bye.